Welcome back to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. We're brought to you by Pelican, built tough for all situations. Go to pelican.com. Yak Gadget, for all your fine kayak fishing accessory needs. Go to yakgadget.com. Eastport Marina, on the beautiful shores of Dale Hollow Lake. For all your lodging, kayaking, and fishing needs. Go to eastport.info. Now let's get this show started.
What is up, everybody?
Boys and girls in just happening, Jay.
Not much, Brian. You were fizzing out there a bit.
Yeah, I don't know. My internet connection's being a little goofy tonight. Gotta love it. Welcome back, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Do we get
a
huge delay? Is the delay on my end or your end?
It seems fine to me. I mean, I just keep seeing you, do your buffering thing every now and then. I'm going to call you Brian the Buffer.
Nice. All right. Well, we got Mike McKinstry in the house tonight. He's got some good share with everybody. I'm going to pop. Hopefully that fixes my connection.
Where is Mikey?
Hey.
What's up, buddy?
Like, well, I was dancing to the song.
Brian's like, I'm out.
His service was. I didn't understand what he's saying with the service.
So he was doing it on your side too, then, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was like freeze framing. It was like claymation.
Yeah, I was like, show just started. Here we go.
Remember Celebrity Deathmatch back in the day, the claymation thing?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's what he looked like. It was just like.
Oh, that's funny. It's funny, I mean, I got better. I mean, my internet's pretty good, and I'm kind of in some mountains and stuff. So,
oh yeah, you moved, man. You're in Tennessee now. You're no longer a Midwesterner.
No, well, technically, I still am. Still have some ties, but as of May 5th, that should all be over with.
I forgot to tell you, the Midwesterners Council met, and we actually revoked your card.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
You're like, you know what? That's fine.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Just go ahead and do it. It's absolutely better. Awesome. Matter of fact, actually, can you go back to blurry? It was better when you were blurry.
Yeah, did you turn off your dial up there, buddy?
Yeah, just every now and then, just stop and
it. Hey, at least I was here.
True.
On time. Mikey.
True.
Yeah.
I mean,
true.
I'm just like moving from one side of the room to the other. Like, yeah.
I have a problem with talking too much, is why we were late.
It's all good. All good, man. All good stuff, man. Well, welcome back to the show, brother.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, man. It's just, I feel like it's like there's like an apartment I have in an out-of-state home or something, like that, like where I get to it's like a home away from home.
You could come hang out and fish whenever you want, bro.
Jay's fished with me. He knows.
Be
careful what you ask for. Yeah.
I still haven't gotten the invite yet.
First you have to leave Michigan.
Hey, I leave Michigan a lot.
Okay.
I'll come to Michigan.
Oh, well, so I should say I did leave Michigan a lot. Like when COVID happened, we didn't travel for a whole year, and then we became kind of like, more based in Michigan after that. And we're like, hey, wait a minute, this was actually kind of nice not having to travel at least. So we still travel. We still have like a couple episodes and a couple things out of state, but we just don't have it. Like in the beginning, it was almost every episode was out of state. And when COVID happened, we just kind of reimagined our little roadmap there and made it more local.
Yeah, you were traveling around a bunch for the TV show, weren't you?
Yeah, so my first trailer wrap, I had a map of the United States on the front of my trailer, and I put like a little Bassquatch sticker everywhere I went. When I took that wrap off, that was on for, I think, 2.5 seasons. I had that wrap up. I took it off. I had like 65 stickers on there from the furthest west I went was Idaho and Utah, all the way over to upstate New York, and Pittsburgh and North Carolina and Florida, everything on the East Coast. Then almost everything in the middle was like covered from here to Louisiana, all the way straight down, Tennessee, Kentucky, everything. And then if I were to do that now, I'd probably have like 5, like it'd be like,
you'd be 5 and very, very poor.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing too. Like, I drive a diesel. Well, up until today, actually today, I got my new truck back today. So
Nice.
it got wrapped. So actually my driveway out my window right now, I have my diesel and my new F-150. They're wrapped almost identically and they're side by side right now. And it looks weird because my diesel's so much bigger than the new truck. But my diesel, I got 11 miles a gallon. And it wasn't that big of a deal for like a while. And then the last year, it's been a huge deal. Traveling more than an hour has been like a budgeting thing now. Like where I'm like, okay, hold on. Let me do the math. Like 11 miles a gallon. It cost me $740 to go to the store. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh,
thanks, Putin.
Yeah.
Thanks, Uncle Joe.
Yeah, it's been rough. So we haven't traveled as much. Plus, like I said, when COVID happened and we were forced to stay in Michigan, it kind of made us realize that it's almost nicer to share like our state with our guests. So instead of traveling to our guests, we started bringing some guests here instead and, doing stuff like that. It made it a lot easier. And it also made it more, the show is based around finding adventure and it's got the Sasquatch theme and everything. So, it was kind of cool keeping it in Michigan because Michigan's known as like, woodsy and outdoorsy and stuff. And we thought it was actually kind of cool that we kept it in Michigan for the most part. There's like 2 episodes out of state every season now. And I kind of like that feel. So when we do have an out of state trip, like we have 2 planned this year that still may or may not happen. It's cooler when we do it. Like, it's almost like more like more of an event. You know what I mean? Like it's a bigger thing. Like, oh, they're out of state this time. Like, instead of like every episode out of state, then it was weird when we were in state, then it became awkward when there was like 3 in a row in Michigan and people were like, oh, that's it. Like you didn't go anywhere. I'm like, yeah, but there's a lot here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so we started bringing guests here and being more creative with filming and stuff. So it's been more fun.
Michigan's got a ton of water and ton of just fishing opportunities in general, man.
Well, we have the most waterfront land in the entire world. Or freshwater, I should say, freshwater land because of the Great Lakes. But we're second to Minnesota for the most inland lakes. But like where I live, the township I live in, and Jay could tell you this too because he's driven here. Every single road goes around a lake. There's no straight roads in my within a half hour of me. Everything goes around a lake. Every street is a lake name because there's 4 lakes in my neighborhood. Like it's just insane how much water is here. And I live in the most congested freshwater spot in the entire country. Even in Minnesota, there's no spots that have as many lakes. There's 26 lakes in my township, like usable lakes, like not ponds or sewage drains, but like actual. Most of them are all sports lakes. And like the 4 in my neighborhood, 3 of them are private and 1's public, but they're all fishable. They're all amazing. Nice. That's why it's kind of cool being based in Michigan. And that's kind of why I haven't left. Like everyone's always on me, like, why don't you move somewhere you can fish year round? I'm like, yeah, it'd be nice. Like I would love that. I'm like, but I have 9 species that I can catch with the same bait in the lake right behind my house. And if I want to fish it for a different species, there's a lake across the street that can give me like 13 species. And then if I want to fish for smallmouth or there's just everywhere right around me within walking distance. So it's really tough to leave that,
Sure. And and it is all year round, and I think a lot of people don't know too, because, I've been up in mid-Michigan during the salmon runs and everything. And dude, these fish are huge. It is amazing to see these giant fish jumping out of like 1.5 foot of water. Yeah. Straight up in the air. It's just, you have to be there to really understand what this means, just to see that. Because these fish are ginormous. And that's just one piece, and that's in the fall. But it's like, I love Michigan. Michigan's a great place. It's a great place just for adventure too, because there's like you literally have roads that just turn into sand, roads and shit. There's like I remember taking this one road, and then all of a sudden you go through a forest, but it's like a single track, like for a car, and you go through it, and then you come back out on a blacktop. I'm like,
so you go to northern Michigan, like you go like 2 to 3 hours north of me, and I'm in southeast Michigan. So like on the mitten is a Michigan thing to do. I'm like down here, if you only go 2 hours north, like up this area, everything from here up, there's 2-track roads everywhere. You're in the woods. Like you could go an hour without seeing another person. Like there's trails, there's mountains, there's like wildlife, and there's lakes you can find back in the woods that nobody's probably been on in 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just different. Once you hit this part of Michigan and up, especially the UP up here, it's like a different country. It's like a totally different atmosphere. People are different. Like it's like northern Illinois, northern Wisconsin, northern Minnesota. Like once you get north in the Midwest, it's just a different world.
I think it's just outside of Chicago is a different world.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
I know. It's funny because I know Brian's always hearing it from me because we'll be in different places in Illinois. And I'm like, dude, this is like people just don't know. They just don't know.
Well, Illinois, Illinois is like a big field with like Chicago. Like it's like Illinois is just like this big open vast area to me, and then there's like Chicago or by the water.
Yeah.
And so whenever I drive through Illinois to like anytime I ever had to go to Wisconsin, I've always just kind of done this weird thing where I'm like, am I in Illinois right now, or am I in Ohio or Indiana? Like it all looked the same until you get near Chicago, and then it was like, oh, this is Chicago. I got it.
Yeah.
Like it's such a weird like Michigan's cool because we don't have anything as big as Chicago, but we have smaller versions like Grand Rapids and Lansing and Detroit and Traverse City, even Marquette. They're like really small. Kalamazoo, even there's like these small little like. There's small little miniature Chicago's without the craziness.
Sure.
And we have all, it's like, other than that, you're in the woods. You know what I mean? Like you're pretty much like in woods, like you're in woodsy area. If you're not in those areas, and it's cool.
Like, it gives you guys have like a state light, and it's like the yellow blinking light.
Yeah.
Because once you get out of the cities, dude, like everything's a yellow light blinking, just blinking.
There's not enough traffic to have it be like red and green. It's just like everyone just look both ways.
I know. I remember first seeing that. I was like, does that mean we just go exercise caution? Like, what are we doing? Like, it's weird. It's like, because you're used to seeing like, why is there just a yellow light, like just solely, in the sky right now, just blinking?
Like, what do you mean? Do I swerve around it? What do I do?
It's like, I mean, it takes, it's just funny because you really realize like how desolate Michigan is. Yeah. Outside these little cities.
It's cool though.
Yeah.
That's what makes Michigan badass.
Yeah. It's fun. Yeah. It's a state. I kind of compare Michigan to Texas sometimes. And I mean that in complete opposite ways because they're opposite. But the way that they're similar is that to survive Texas, everything is so far away. The environment is harsh off and on randomly. I've been there before where it was 50 degrees at night and like 100 during the day. And it's just like, it just makes you tough. The drivers are terrible down there. Like it's nuts. Michigan's kind of the same. It's just opposite climates and opposite everything else, but it's the same idea where I think the Midwest in general, it makes people tough. You know what I mean? Like you got to deal with some like stupid stuff. And a lot of stupid people, you know what I mean? So like you got to deal with the traffic, you got to deal with the potholes. I don't think the roads are worse anywhere in the country besides Michigan. I really don't. Like I think Michigan. I'm serious. I think Michigan's up there. If you Google it, I think there'll be a chart somewhere that'll put Michigan first. I don't know what source will have.
Oh, I'm sure.
But like we're known. Like when you cross the Michigan-Ohio border, everyone makes a joke that you're in Ohio only because the roads get smooth. And it's true. It really is true. There's like an imaginary line where all of a sudden the potholes stop. So you become a very evasive driver and a very like, alert driver because you're always watching for a tire taker in the middle of the road. And, the climate, same thing. Like we had 81 degrees 2 days ago or 3 days ago up here. And then it's like 38 degrees 2 days later and snowing. And then 65 the next day, and then 90 the next day, and then snow. And it's just, and same Texas has that same like craziness. It's the opposite of us, but the craziness. And I think it builds tough people, like it builds character. It makes you hate environments, but it builds character.
So here you go. There's a list. This is from February 2nd, 2022. 10th is New York. 9th, Pennsylvania. 8th, Tennessee. 7th,
I believe
Illinois. 7th is Illinois. 6 is Massachusetts. 5 is Ohio. 4, Nebraska. Number 3, Michigan.
Who's number
2? Number 2 is Indiana. I'll give you guys each a guess on number 1.
Minnesota?
Nope.
It's got to be it's got to be a northern state because we have the worst because of salt in the roads and everything.
That's
northwest. Northwest.
And it's not Minnesota?
North Dakota?
Washington.
Oh, Washington. Oh, you really meant extreme northwest.
Yakima, Washington is number 1 out of the entire country.
Yeah.
Spokane, number 3, and Seattle, number 5.
Well, yeah.
So I
Well,
also
I can tell you Indiana's on that because of I-65 for sure. Tennessee, 75 going south off the Kentucky border. That's a nice stretch. There's some craters.
I found another chart that says Rhode
of.
Island. I found another chart that said Rhode Island, Hawaii, Wisconsin, California, and Michigan are the worst, which makes no sense. So yeah, I guess.
Who cares? They all suck.
They're bad.
They all suck. That's right. Just tell them to put in another tollway that will never pay off.
Yeah, I have an iPass thing in my windshield because of Illinois, so I don't want to hear about tollways. Illinois is the worst. It's like every time I made a turn, pay. And I'm like, Jesus.
Yep.
So I had to
That's the same with Ohio.
Ohio's only got a couple. I think Illinois, like at least coming from my way, coming from Michigan, going around Illinois, like to Chicago. Yeah, that's the most tollways I think I could possibly hit, unless I go to Boston. Like going to Boston, there's a stupid amount going through that way too. But I had to buy one of those iPass things because I got so sick of stopping all the time. I was like, man, I'll just pay this every year.
Yep.
I can't do this. Like there's so many.
Well, it makes it easier too because if you travel to other places, if they've got tollways, most of them are connected now. So you can pay a toll through your Illinois one.
Oh, that's cool.
So like
down my iPass, there was like an East Coast or a West Coast one.
No, I know when I was in Florida in January, the iPass up here worked down there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Florida, like out here in Kentucky on the bridge.
Yeah.
It's so weird here you say out here in Kentucky.
What'd you say?
I said it's weird to hear you say out here in Kentucky.
Yeah, out here. Well, it's still kind of fresh, so.
I know. I'm like, wait, you're not Kentucky. You don't live in Kentucky.
No, but I've gone through there a lot lately. So I mean, I was taking trips down here.
I'm used to you living in Illinois. Like you just like
yeah.
Tackle Box Breakdown says North Texas tolls are the same.
Oh yeah, so I don't drive through Texas a lot because everything's so far away. Like if I fly into Austin, I'm like, oh, I gotta go to Dallas. It's like 3 hours. If I fly into Dallas, I gotta go to Houston, 3 hours. If I fly into Houston, I have to go. It's like everything's 3 hours. Everything's so far away in Texas, so I don't really drive that much in Texas. I just usually fly to whatever spot I have to go and stay there. It's just such a big state. Everything's so spread out down there.
Ryan Milford's in the chat. He said his mic made Jay uncomfortable yet.
I'm here. That's all it takes anymore. As soon as I show up on camera, he just gets a little bit.
Why do you think I moved to Tennessee? I'm that much farther away from Mike. That's the only thing I can do is just leave.
It's bound
4 hours was too close, or 5 hours was too close.
Bound to happen.
Yep. You know what, Jay? Your new place looks great through your windows.
Thanks. I'm looking out a window. It's dark now, though.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's getting here too. Oh, so let's talk about this season, guys.
Yes, let's talk about it.
Oh, right.
New season of Bassquatch.
I have a lot of really cool things I want to share. I'm really excited about it. And first thing, thank you guys for having me on too. Like I love being on here with you guys. It's always a great time, and you guys have such a great platform, and I love coming on here. But yeah. This season is so cool, and anyone who's seen my show, if you haven't seen it, it's called The Bassquatch Hunter. It airs on the Pursuit Channel 4 times a week, from April to September. So it's airing right now. Today's Thursday, so it airs tomorrow again. I think at 1:30. I think tomorrow. I just have to look real quick because Friday is 2 p.m. It actually airs twice tomorrow. 2 p.m. and I think 9 a.m. But you can see it on the Pursuit Channel if you have that on cable. If you don't, you can watch it on YouTube. I post every episode on there after it airs on cable, or on the Pursuit Up app. It is on there for free 90 days after it airs on cable, just because I have to deal with the cable providers and stuff. And there's a bunch of streaming apps it airs on too from Pursuit Channel too. But so our show is super cool because we're not, I always say we're not your grandpa's fishing show. We don't have the banjos in the background while we talk about fishing, for an hour straight, just talking about fishing, which is cool. Like shows like that is what I grew up on, like watching shows like that is what taught me how to fish. But watching shows like Bill Dance, where it was more entertaining than teaching, where I was just waiting for him to fall out of a boat or, waiting for him to break his rods and yell a bunch of weird curse words that were all like, Southern jargon that I didn't understand, but it was hilarious. That's what made me really want to do what I do. So my show is more entertainment based. So we take out guests from other industries and show them our world of fishing. And then I go in their world and I try to compete with them, and we don't fake anything. I do everything 100%. I try to jump in their world at their level, which never works out well for me. And this season, I've broken 2 ribs in an episode. I tore a bicep in an episode. I got a concussion. I've had, what was the last one? I just got hurt in the last one too. I got knocked out in one of them. We've had
was that in the boxing one you did or something?
The UFC one, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, that's the one I'm working on right now. Like that one's gonna air in about a month and a half, and I had to take 3 punches like full out. Like I wanted to get that Rocky Balboa shot, that like Apollo Creed like hook and just the face just like juggles and like falls out. And I was like, we had to do it a few times to get the right angles and everything. I was like, I'll keep on taking them, and as long as I'm awake, let's keep on taking them. And yeah, that was a fun one. Figure skating one, I got hurt. The WWE wrestler episode just aired earlier this month. I broke 2 ribs on that one, and we had to go back 2 weeks later after I healed up enough to go refilm parts of it because I had to stop filming. Turns out a metal chair to the back actually hurts. Like it's real. Like that's not fake whatsoever. Wrestling's not fake. And that's the thing. Like, I knew that. I was a huge wrestling fan in the 90s, but when I did the episode with the wrestler, like he even told me, he goes, "Hey, this isn't fake." I'm like, "No, I know it's not fake, but it's like fake, right?" And he goes, "No, it's choreographed. Is a difference."
Yeah.
He goes,
"It's choreographed, storyboarded, right?"
Yeah, like the moves aren't fake. Like everything's real. Like you're not really getting punched. I mean, sometimes you do. Sometimes you get really punched or slapped or like kneed or kicked. Like some of that really lands, and it these dudes are 300 something pounds, full bodybuilder mode. Like it hurts, I'm sure, but they're not like it's not like you're just brawling. It's not like UFC. So it makes it harder though, I learned, because not only was I getting my butt kicked by like these dudes who do this for a living, like I was getting thrown and slammed. And if I didn't fall right, or I got hit the wrong way where it threw me off, or I knocked the wind out of me, these dudes are planning on, we already have the next move planned and we can't stop. Like I can't be like, hold on guys, I'm hurt. Like that's not how it works in wrestling. You got to play with it and just go with it. And the person's already in the middle of the next move by the time you realize you're hurt. So it's just going to keep on going, and you got to do your best. And that's what I did in the episode is I took a chair to the back. I turned a little bit the wrong way because I missed my cue and took it to the side a little bit too much. And I'm not that big of a dude, as at least you guys know, but the chair is about as wide as my back, is tall. When you have a 300-pound dude or bigger, like Triple H or a guy like Big Show, that chair is like this big to his back. You know what I mean? Like the chair, sure. Like you have all this room to hit his back. With me, the chair was literally like the size of my back. So there's no room for, like, if he would have went too high, would have hit me in the back of the neck and could have caused serious problems. If he would have went too low, could have hit my hips or my tailbone and caused even more damage. If I turned it all, he could hit my elbows, my shoulder, my ribs, which is what I did. We had this whole thing planned, this whole match planned after I did some training, and I thought something changed, and I was like, oh, and I turned to see what was going on, and he was in full swing, full out running start, like Happy Gilmore wind up with a metal chair. And I was like, and I cringed and I flinched, and it was bad. And I went down like a sack of potatoes too. And he was like, are you all right? And I'm trying to be tough. I'm like, yeah. And that's in the episode. That episode aired at the beginning of this year. And that one's on YouTube now too. It just put one up on YouTube last week. But this season is so cool because I stepped it up this year, and I wanted to do, last year we did some cool stuff. I love everyone we filmed with. We've had some great episodes. We won a Telly Award last year too. Like we've had some great stuff, or 2 years ago. Sorry, we won a Telly Award. This year I wanted to just step it up. So this year we have the UFC episode, we have the WWE wrestler episode, we have the DNR fishery biologist episode, which was that was incredible to learn everything from that guy. We have a really famous radio host. We have a professional bowler. That was an awesome episode too. We've had a fireman. The fireman episode was the newest one. That's why my beard's still growing back, because I did the mustache for the fireman episode. And did you guys see the pictures for the fireman episode, by the way? Did you guys see those on my socials?
No.
Jay wants to know when he's getting his camera or his calendar.
Dude. So those guys were laughing so hard that I was doing this. I was like, are you guys gonna get offended if I start like, I'm not making fun of you guys? They're like, no, dude, like, let's do it. Calendar shoot. I was like, here we go. My photographer's like dying taking these pictures. And I'm gonna tell you what, though, out of all the things I've done this season, the fireman episode was the hardest thing I've ever done. Like the most physically demanding thing I've ever done.
Sure.
I puked my brains out at the end of that segment. Like I went in kind of not expecting what was going to happen, but I was like, whatever, this can't be that. Like, I'm in pretty decent shape. Like, there's no way this is going to be that hard. I'm doing the fireman agility course. They have to do this course every year to qualify to still be a fireman. They have to make sure they can, literally take care of everybody around them. So they have to pass this really tough physical fitness test every year. And they're like, yeah, we're going to put all the gear on you. The big oxygen tanks, the heavy helmets, everything. And you got to do this course. And they're like, you can take breaks in between it. You can't do that normally, but since you're filming, like you can take a break and reset the cameras and catch your breath. And I was like, do you guys get to do that? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not going to phone this in. Like, I want to legit like be in your world. Like, let's do this. So I watched this 20-year-old kid do it in front of me. He's like a rookie. He just started. So they made him do it to show me how to do it. And he's, built like Jay. You're not like a ripped, shredded bodybuilder. I didn't like, you don't look like a fitness model. No offense, Jay. And
I'm so sad.
I don't think I surprised you with that.
That's in public now. You said that in public.
Now everyone knows I don't have a six pack. So this dude looked like you for real, but he was 20 years old version. And I was like, all right, like, let's see how he does it. He finished the course in 6 minutes. And I was like, wow, was that good? Like it seemed fast, but it didn't look as hard. I mean, it looked hard, but I was like, is 6 minutes good? And like, yeah, it's really good. Actually, that's like that's what our goal is in the department, is for everyone to get around 6 to 7 minutes. And I was like, all right. So I get all the gear on. As soon as they put the gear on me, I was almost out of breath already. Like, that gear weighs 65 pounds. The tank was pulling me backwards. The helmet weighs like 7 pounds. It felt like, or 8 pounds. Like, my head was like a bobblehead. Like, it was crazy. And I was like, all right, now I have to go up and down stairs. I have to pull like 150-pound weight on the cement and drag it all the way across the parking lot. I got to drag a tire. I got to like do all these crazy things, put up ladders, and I'm timed, and I'm wearing this uniform that doesn't breathe. Like, it was like wearing a heated blanket that weighed 65 pounds that just like was snug around you at all times. Like, your helmet does not let air out. So all your heat from your head is just coming straight down to your face. It was literally like torturous. And I was like, I'm not stopping. I pushed myself the entire time. I did it in 6 minutes and 42 seconds. And when I was done, they go, hey, guess what? Another call just came in. This is how it works in real life. We got to go do CPR and save a patient. Let's go. There's no time to stop. And I was like, dude, I'm barely seeing straight. I'm going to puke my brains out. Like, hold on. So I started stripping off the gear, took off everything except the pants, like took off the jacket, took off the tank, everything, ran over, started doing 150 compressions on a CPR dummy, loaded up in the ambulance, rode around in the back of the ambulance, bouncing around. I got out and I puked my brains out. And I was out for like 25 minutes. I just couldn't stand up. I was just like jello. And I was like, I'm like, this is terrible. And they're like, yeah, guess what? Another call could come in right now. And guess what you have to do? You could have to do the same thing all over again. And I was like, holy crap. Like, I've always had respect for firemen and police and, emergency workers, but like, to think about, like, these guys get sometimes 7 calls a day, 8 calls a day. And I just did 2. And I was like, literally, like, I was not only useless, but like, I felt like I needed medical attention. Like, I was like, I couldn't stop throwing up, but I couldn't get my breath. And my arms just wouldn't lift things. Like, I just like tried picking up a bottle of water. My hand wasn't working. I was like, I'm exhausted beyond belief. And I'm like, how do you guys, like, and you get another call, you can't be like, sorry, I can't, y'all, you're dying. Sorry, I can't make it. Like, I'm tired. You know what I mean? So like, and most of these dudes are like 18 to 25 years old, and it just blows my mind. And the guys that were even older than me in their late 40s that were doing this stuff, I was like, you know what? Total no respect, man. Like, and that's what's cool about my show is that, when I get in these worlds that you never like get to see behind the curtain, like the WWE wrestler, like I've never gotten to see behind the curtain of what goes into that. Like, that was so crazy learning about wrestling and like how much went into it. And like, you have to communicate without communicating on the fly, and you have to adapt and all the like work through injuries. And it was nuts. And the athleticism, and there's like comedy and drama and all the stuff built into wrestling. And same thing with the race car driving, like learning about how to race cars and how to break tires loose and all this stuff was crazy. But the fireman episode was just like every time I see a fireman, I fish with a lot of firemen. Every time I see anyone now, I'm just like, man, you are built different than I thought. Like you are like, you know, a lot of these guys, again, no offense, Jay, but a lot of these guys are built like Jay. Like they're not like fitness models. You know what I mean? Like they don't look like they're like, you know, if I'm not trying to like rip on you, I'm just saying like none of us look like we do CrossFit every day. You know what I mean?
You're making Jay blush.
And a lot of firemen don't look like that either. A lot of firemen aren't like, you know, but these guys are like superheroes, man. Like that was such a cool experience. And that's why I love, like, that's my passion. I love what I do with the show because I never would have known. And I guarantee you all the viewers that see that episode are going to have the same reaction. They're going to be like, holy crap. Like that goes into that. Like that was, I simulated the first 10 minutes of showing up to a fire. That was the same equivalency of me pulling out the fire hoses, dragging out the ladders, dragging out everything, breaking down a door, pulling down drywall from the ceiling, dragging out a body or rescuing someone or carrying someone up a fire. Like I simulated all of those actions, which all happened within the first 10 minutes of showing up to a house fire. And then I was supposed to do the rest. You know what I mean? Then the rest of the hour or two of firefighting comes in, or another call comes in, or all. It's like, that was the most insane experience. And it was just, like I said, I had no idea what went into it. And I have so much more respect for anybody who wears that uniform now. And it just blows my mind. And it's so cool. I can't wait to share that with you guys too. Like that footage is like, I had a chest GoPro on the whole time. And the GoPro 10s look like drones, like they're floating, like they're so crazy. So you get a really good like angle of like, you could just hear my breathing just like the whole time, but you could get a really good angle of like the work that it took to do it. And like, you could see like the sweat, like the fumes coming off of me and stuff. It was nuts. It was so crazy.
Awesome. That's cool, man. Yeah, I could definitely see where you're coming from on that, man. It gives you a new profound perspective on what those guys go through on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and that's, like I said, that's only this much. That's the part that blew my mind the most. I was like, this is unbearable. And this is only like a fraction of not only your job, but just your day. Like your 24-hour shift where you might not even get to sleep on top of everything. Like I got like 5 hours of sleep that night. I had coffee. I was kind of relaxed coming into it. They don't get that luxury. You know what I mean? Like they could have 3 fires in a row and have to do that 3 times in a row with no sleep.
Do your firefighters have to be paramedics as well?
Yes.
Yeah, just like up in Chicago and the Illinois area.
Yeah, so that was the part that was crazy, is that you could do a house fire and do what I had to do and be puking your brains out, exhausted, and then you have to go do CPR and like save someone's life, and then you have to go report to a car accident, and then you have to go, you know, it's just insane. Like, and then like these guys, the fire department by my house I did this at, they said they average about 7 calls a night, and I was just like, man, like. That's not for me. Like, I'm not built that way. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I could have been if I started doing that when I was 18 and just stuck with it, but I just don't think I'm built that way. It's like when you meet someone that was in the military, I feel the same way about the military, where I'm like, I wasn't built for the military. Like, I just wasn't built that way. Like, I don't think I could handle what those guys handle. Like, I just don't. Like, people are built differently for a reason, you know?
Definitely hear you on that, man. That's crazy.
But it's cool though, because we have the fireman episode.
Did you get to take the firemen out fishing afterwards?
Yeah, so we didn't film that part yet. The weather up here has been absolutely nuts.
Well, right.
Oh, we've scheduled it. I've got 3 guests that I haven't taken fishing yet that I've already done the other part with. We're just waiting because the weather has been 30, 70, 90, 20, like all over.
Yeah, right.
Not only does it kill the fishing, obviously, because the fish are just sitting on the bottom of the lake looking up, going, "What the heck's going on up there?"
Right.
But it's not really fun for the guests who have never fished to be like, "Hey, come out in the water. It's 42 degrees and windy." Like, it's not gonna be good. So we were filming this week and we canceled. And then because we had a 38 degree day after a 92 degree day or 82 degree day or something like that, and I was just like, "Yep, there's no way we're fishing that day. It's just not gonna happen." And then we're in the 50s this whole week. So now next week we'll be in the mid to high 60s again. So we got the radio DJ that we're taking fishing. We got the professional bowler, and then we have the firefighter we're taking fishing hopefully all next week or the week after.
Nice.
But the radio DJ one is another one. Like, you know, I've been on radio shows. I've been on, news outlets. Like, I've been around that environment. But I got to be a guest on like one of the largest radio stations in the Midwest, and just like seeing how that whole thing worked was like another, like, I walked in there and I was like looking around like a deer in headlights, like, holy crap, there's so much going on. There's a big crew here. Like, I didn't know this much went into it. Like, the radio shows I've been on were a lot smaller than this. And this is really big. Like, this is huge. And there's like all these interns running around doing stuff and filming and like all this. Like, I was like, holy crap, is this nuts? And it was done so fast. And I was like, that was it. All right, I guess I'll go in the hallway and wait now. Like, that was weird. It was so quick. And I'm like, you know what? I can't wait to take this guy in my world, because he's going to think the same thing about my world. He's going to be in a kayak for the first time, and he's going to be looking around and being like, what do I do? Where's everything go? How do I do everything? And I get to like try to relax him like he did to me, and try to like let him know, like, hey, this is my world. This is my comfort zone now. Like, now let me show you what we do. And this dude is like 6'5", 300 pounds. Doesn't like to get dirty. Never done a sport in his life. Like, not outdoorsy at all. Like, it just
take him on an early spring day with all the mud.
Yeah, it doesn't fit. Like, so even his co-host told me, he goes, he's gonna wear all black North Face and he's not gonna want to get dirty. And I was like, oh, all right. Like, he's never touched a fish. Like, this will be fun. Like, this will be great. So I've taken him on the lake that I took you on, Jay, when we did our pike episode. I'm taking him on that same lake. So, and I already told him, like, look, there's 13 species out there. Like, we could get pike. I'm like, you just gotta, like, I'll coach you through everything, and I'll walk you through it. I'm taking them on that lake on purpose because, one, I like filming public lakes, so it's realistic whether we skunk or not. I also want to take him on that lake because I kind of want to get his reaction getting a pike, and I know that it'll happen out there. I think pike are one of the most intimidating fish for a non-fisherman, because you can't grab them really, and they don't stop thrashing. They're so angry, and the fight is second to none. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that happens just for camera purposes. Like, he might drop my rod in the water. I don't really care. It'll be worth it. I just want to get his reaction with that. I think it'd be great. And if he gets a monster bass out of there, even better. If not, that lake is so bluegill and crappie and panfish heavy that we can always panfish. And that's why it's such a cool spot to film. But yeah, this whole season, is super cool, and it's going to keep on getting better. And we already have some plans for next season that are, we have a second fireman episode. We're actually already planning for next season, nice. Where I'll actually get to work with fires in this one, and put out car fires and do some really cool stuff, the jaws of life, and do all the other side of firemen. And we're trying to, like, I meant the other side of being a fireman, and, we're already planning that for next season. We have like a Formula One racing thing for next season. We already have these, like, we're trying to make every season bigger and better. And as long as our show keeps growing, like, our ratings have grown so much, our platform has grown so much. We're averaging, like, I think 1.62 million viewers every 6 months now. So it's been growing, awesome. Dude. It's been, I literally just can't, like, I don't want to come off like I'm, like, bragging or patting myself on the back, I guess, but, like, I'm so proud of what I've done and what, like, my crew has done, and, like, all the people involved since day one. It's like, it's cool. Like, it's like, it's just one of those things where sometimes I get so stressed out and I'm so busy all the time, and I'm so, like, involved that I forget to take a step back sometimes and just look down at everything I've done and everything I'm doing and just go, you know what, this is kind of cool. Like, I quit my job to do this, 6 years ago, and I'm still doing it. And it's growing every year. It's gotten better every year, and it's getting harder every year. But, like, our crew is growing. Like, we're getting more help, and just to keep it growing, and we're expanding everything we do, and it's just, like, it's cool, man. Like, it's just fun. Like, I get to meet some awesome people, and everyone I film with becomes like a buddy. Like, I talk to everybody I filmed with. All my guests became friends, and we work on other projects together, and I help them with some of their stuff, and they help me with some of my stuff. And, like, I take them out fishing just randomly for fun sometimes, because now they got addicted to it, and they decided that fishing was a lot more fun than they thought, and they want to do it more. And that's the whole plan, the whole goal. And I get in their worlds too. Like, I did the bowling episode. I haven't bowled in 3 years, and I was on the bowling league for 12 years before that. I quit bowling 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago. I did a bowling episode. Now I got 2 new bowling balls, new shoes. Like, I go bowling like 3 times a week now. I'm joining the league again. Like, that's what it's all about, though. Like, I get these guys to get back into fishing, or get into fishing for the first time. They fall in love with it. They're buying kayaks now. Like, I had the bowler message me today and go, hey, man, how much are those kayaks again? Which ones do you use? Like, he's looking into it already. And that's awesome. And it's like, and he already, got me into new bowling balls and stuff. So it's like, that's the whole point of the show, is that I hope viewers have the same reaction. I hope that viewers see our episodes and go, you know what? That looks kind of fun. Like if he can do it, I can do it. You know, I'm a 5'5" Michigan dude. Like if I can handle whatever I'm doing, trust me, anyone that's watching can do it too. And that's what's cool about it is, you know, if you want to try to learn how to wrestle, there's wrestling schools. I didn't know that existed. There's wrestling schools. You can learn how to do WWE style wrestling at a school. And it's really cool. Like great people at all of them. If you want to learn how to race cars, there's actually places that teach you how to do legitimate racing where you're not just like learning how to drive, but you're learning how to like the mechanics of like friction works. And they teach you like the science behind racing. Like there's all these cool avenues where you can learn these awesome professions. You know, like I never thought of my life. I wasn't one of those kids when I was like 5 where I was like, I want to be a fireman. I wanted to be a business owner. I don't know why, but like my grandparents were business owners. My parents were business owners. I always saw as that was the American dream, is to own a business. Didn't matter what it was. It was just self-employed. And I never looked at being like a fireman or an astronaut or anything, but you know what? I wish I did, because now I know what being a fireman was sort of like. And it's like, damn, like, you know how cool that would be to actually like be that much of a, like, can I say badass on your podcast?
Yeah, man.
Like, you know how much, you know how cool it would be to be that much of a badass? Like I felt like a superhero. Like when I was wearing just the pants, even just the bibs, I like wanted to go to like out in public and walk around and just wave to people or something. Like it was so weird. Like I felt like I was wearing a Superman costume. I really did. And I was like, man, we got to drive with a fire truck. I got to pull the horn. Like I turned into a 5-year-old as soon as I hit the horn. And I was like,
you're like, I got to pull the horn.
Dude, even the firemen who do this every day were like, yeah, it never gets old. Like we still turn into kids when we get to hit those. And I'm like, I bet you do. Like, it's so cool.
Heck yeah.
But that's what's fun about it. And, you know, and I love what we're doing with the show. And I want to segue into, and I'm sorry I talk so much and so fast and stuff. I know we're on some.
No, you're good. I know you got to take off in a minute.
Yeah, I have hockey tonight too. I play hockey at least once a week. So it's another thing I have no time for. But, you know, with our show growing so much, I do all these kids camps, and you know, my township, West Bloomfield, has a bunch of kids camps, and we have a really cool park down the road with a big fishing pier, and it's super nice. And we have kids camps out there where there's like the Go Fish events where it's free. You don't need a fishing license for a weekend once a year to encourage all the kids to go out fishing. You know, you don't need licenses to go that weekend. So we do this big Go Fish event that I go there and help out at every year and volunteer and teach kids how to fish. Then we do like the overnight camps that I'm there for a few hours doing a fishing seminar there and teaching the kids how to fish again, and, you know, putting worms on hooks for them and taking fish off and teaching them about how to hold fish, all that fun stuff. So we've done 2 years in a row now where they've sold out every camp so quick, where we added more this year. And then we even added my own personal camp called Fishing with the Bassquatch Hunter, where all the kids can sign up and the parents. And we're going to have at least 10 fishing kayaks there, all pedal drives. So the kids and the parents can go out one-on-one with a veteran kayak fisherman. There'll be at least 5 or 6 experienced kayak fishermen that'll be one-on-one taking kids and their parents out in fishing kayaks for, you know, 10, 15 minutes at a time and going around the lake and hopefully maybe catching a fish or two and, you know, getting more kids involved in the sport. And when we started doing this kind of stuff, we started noticing that, like, you know, these kids are so like wowed by the whole fishing industry. Like they don't understand how tournaments work or how kayaks work even, or fishing works. They just like the adventure and excitement of it. I was like, you know what? That's what I like. Like, you know, we have a lot in common. Like that's what I like about the sport, is the adventure and like learning every day and discovering new things. So I wanted to find a new way to reach a lot of people and teach them about this stuff. So I told you guys before, I don't know if any of the listeners knew this, but I was going to announce something exclusive. I've never talked about it on social media yet. I'm kind of not supposed to talk about it yet, but I'm too excited about it. But anyone who follows my Facebook or my YouTube or my Instagram or anything, you guys have seen this logo right here. Have you guys seen this one right here on my shirt?
Oh yeah.
So this is, his name is Seth. He's our mascot. That's Seth Squatch. Seth Squatch is there's a whole story behind Seth Squatch. He learned how to fish when he met his first human in the woods, and he was in the woods hiding for hundreds of years because his great-grandfather, Sam Squatch, got caught hundreds of years ago in that famous pose, you know, that walking pose that everyone sees the Sasquatch in. That was his great-grandfather. So that's where that pose came from. This is all factual, by the way. It's based on a true story. So Seth finally came out of the woods after he learned how to fish from a human, and he's like, you know what? Humans are kind of cool. And he wanted to see what else he was missing all this time he was hiding. And he was like, I'm not afraid of people that are different than me anymore. Now I'm going to go out and find adventure. Now, instead of me hiding, I'm going to go out and see what I've been missing all this time. So we took this story and we just kind of evolved it into like all these different avenues that I'll be releasing and talking about over the next month or two here on social media. But I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek on one huge project we've been working on for a very long time. And it's finally like came together. And I can't go into detail. I'll get yelled at, but I just want to show you guys this right here. This right here is something that is incredibly important to me. And this right here is one of the tools that we're going to be using to be teaching kids how tournament fishing works, and also fun for adults. Like the three of us could play this up at a cabin on a fishing trip, and it's a board game. And it's a super cool way that we've been testing it for a long time now. And it's a super cool way for kids to really understand how tournaments work, the excitement of tournaments, why competitive fishing is fun, whether it's on a kayak or a bass boat, it doesn't matter. Why it's fun. And it's not about winning all the time. It's about, you know, the adventure. It's about the experience. And that's what our show is based off of. And that's what I want to spread the most, is always go out and try new things, and don't be afraid to take that jump. Don't be afraid to meet someone new and learn from them. And don't be afraid to try something new. So that's one of the avenues that we're working on right now, to be able to do that. Yeah, look at that. I thought something happened with the cameras, but yeah. So yeah, that's the logo. And if you noticed, there's Cedar, my dog Cedar, is in Seth's arms. So Cedar's in the story too. But yeah, this is that's why that logo exists. A lot of people were kind of confused when I started posting everywhere, and I did it on purpose, kind of cryptically, where people are like, "Wait a minute, what's this?" And there's a whole clothing line for Sasquatch. You can get a Sasquatch backpack. Like there's a whole clothing line online on the Bassquatchhunter.com website. And people were kind of confused about like the cartoon direction I was going. And then I started leaking a little bit here and there, like, hey, there's a whole kids platform that we're working on, you know, that ranges from, you know, books to animated series to board games, and, you know, teaching kids about the sport in a really fun way. And instead of having them relate to, you know, me or Jay or Brian or someone else out there, give them a character that relates to them. And that's what Sasquatch is, you know, it's just such a cool story. I just can't wait to share more. Like, I feel like I'm going to start getting text messages from people in a minute that I'm not supposed to be talking about this, but
I'm looking forward to I was going to say, I'm looking forward to the pics of the tramp stamp of that.
Yeah. You do know someone got someone got the Bassquatch tattoo a couple years ago, right?
Like on their back?
No, like that skull logo right here.
Yeah.
Like, you know my green decals of that.
Yeah.
So someone got that full size tattooed on their arm, like, that I've never met. And
that's
just
not
because
so
we're
bad.
yeah, it's got my website on it and everything. Though it's crazy. And I was like, man, that's like, thank you. Like, it's cool. Like, I'm glad you believe in what I do so much. Like, I'm changing a logo, but thank you. You know, but yeah, the whole Sasquatch thing is super important, and I think it's going to be a really good way for kids to actually get involved in our sport more, and also just learn about fishing, and also just learn about taking adventures. You know, it's not always about fishing either. It's just get outside and just see what you could find. Like when we were kids in our generation, like I get home, my parents would be like, "Do you have homework?" I'm like, "No." Like, get outside, like go, like get out of here, like leave. We don't care where you're going. We don't care what you're doing. Just get out of the house. Come back when it gets dark. And we'd go build forts. We'd go get in trouble. We'd use dumb stuff. We'd sometimes get escorted home. But that was like the rule, is get outside and figure something out. You know, I learned how to build by building forts, like the very fundamental versions, but I learned like how wood worked. You know, I learned how nails worked. I learned how glass bottles broke against the road and how to get arrested for it. You know what I mean? So like you learn things like good and bad, but you learn things by just going outside and just figuring things out. And that's what I love about what we do with the show. Is I hope people take that away from what we do, is just don't be afraid to go look into see what it takes to be a fireman. Don't be afraid to go talk to someone that does something completely different and be like, hey, what's it like doing what you do? Like, can you teach me? Like, it's cool what you can learn. Like the skills that I've learned from all these things are crazy. You know, like they help me in everything I do, you know, like learning more patience and more endurance and more balance. And, you know, all these things that I've been learning from all these different things that I've tried, you know, and I get into a lot of them. Like I've been figure skating since we filmed the figure skating thing, because it was so much fun. Like I've been bowling a stupid amount of time since then. I wanted to start going to a wrestling school once in a while, just because it's a great workout and it's so much fun learning the moves. Like I get really into all these things, and it's contagious. Like, it's really fun. So that's what I hope people take away from the show. And that's what we're hoping, that by stepping it up this year and next year, that we're hoping that we're spreading, is that people see that, you know, they can go out and do it too. You know, like, you can go out and try new things and have fun, and you never know what's going to happen out of it.
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Stay tuned on BassquatchHunter.com and on the Bassquatch Hunter socials, because we'll be posting more of all of this stuff that I was talking about over the next month and a half, and releasing some really, really cool stuff. That's not just for kids either, by the way. Like, that board game is actually geared towards adults. It's also made, we're working on, like, I think 6 and up is what we're working on right now, depending on, we're waiting for certification on that, but 6 and up is what we're aiming for, because there's basic math involved, because you have to measure the fish, or like add up the fish sizes and stuff. But we've tested it with adults that have had almost more fun than the kids have, because it gets competitive. You know, you start talking trash to each other, and people turn it into a drinking game, and people, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, right.
There's a trophy that comes with it too. So, like, the trophy gets passed around to whoever wins. So you keep on playing to see who wins the most. And it's a lot of fun. Like, it's just such a cool way to, like, let people know what we do without having to go do it. You know, you can get a kind of a heads up of how to do it, so you feel more comfortable going to a tournament for the first time, because you're like, yeah, I get how the 5 fish works now. Like, I get how calling a fish works. I get how, like, sometimes you catch a pike, which could ruin your fishing day, or, you know, you break a line and you can do this. And, like, the game teaches you all of this, which is a lot of fun.
Heck yeah, man. That's sweet.
Man, I talk a lot. That was fast.
No.
That's what you're good at, Mikey. That's what you're good at.
Yeah, Jay was sleeping. He just, like, stared and zoned out for like 4 minutes.
I was like,
yeah. On that note, I have to leave for hockey in like 3 seconds. So,
yeah, man. Tell folks again, like, where they can follow you, where to get some Bassquatch gear, where to be watching, and all that good stuff, buddy.
Yeah, so BassquatchHunter.com. It's getting redone right now, so I apologize. The website's kind of like, it still works and everything, but it's just kind of, it's not the way I want it to be yet. It's just kind of moved around. But BassquatchHunter.com. You can go to the YouTube channel from there. You can go to the clothing from there. Just click the drop down and click clothing, or, you know, the show or whatever. You can get the Find Your Bassquatch shirts we still have on there. We can get the Seth Squatch gears on there too. This isn't the actual logo. It's different colors. This was a prototype from a while ago, but all the stuff's on there. When all the new stuff comes out, like the game and all the other stuff we're working on, it'll all be on there too. You'll see it right on the website. So check out there. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube. Instagram is where all our behind the scene pictures go. YouTube is where all the behind the scenes vlogs and behind the scenes footage of the show and the full episodes after they air go. And then, of course, pursuitup.com or pursuituptv.com, sorry, is the free app. All the episodes from the last 2 years are on there right now for free. And then this season will start airing on there in April, May, June, July. July, they'll start popping up on there because it's 90 days behind.
Nice. Very cool, man.
So thank you guys for
having you jumping on, man.
No, I appreciate you having me. And I'm sorry we had to do like a speed round version where I had to just like run on for like 23 minutes so I can get it all out.
It's all good, man. You got to put somebody in the boards tonight. I get it.
Yeah, I hope, man. I got a concussion playing hockey 3 weeks ago, so last week was my first week back, and we'll see how it goes tonight.
Well, quit beating yourself up, dude.
Dude, I was going backwards, and I hit heel to heel with somebody, and my feet went straight up in the air. My head whiplashed on the eye. It was bad. It wasn't fun.
Sounds fun.
It definitely.
I'll pass.
But either way, thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it a lot. And Paddle and Finn's the best, man. You guys are awesome.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, bud.
All right, I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, buddy. Take care. Be safe.
You guys are awesome. Like I'd rather sit here. I'd rather do this than hockey, but I don't have a choice. I gotta show up tonight. So
go stay in shape.
We can do it again. We can do it.
Like, you mean you're gonna go do something athletic instead of sitting here talking to us all night?
I know. It's like, yeah. I mean, you don't even sound busy enough. You should probably add another sport to your schedule, I think.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I know, like when bowling league starts, I'm like, all right, I'm trying to like figure out like, all right, this is Monday, then Tuesday, then Wednesday. I have something booked every day, like scheduled, plus my show, plus all the. Oh well, I like being busy. I have a lot of energy.
Hey man, keeps you out of trouble, brother.
Yeah, somewhat. Or it gets me into it, I guess, if you ask.
I hear you.
But, all right. Well, I'll talk to you soon, guys.
All right,
Thanks
dude.
again so much.
All right. Thanks, Mike. We'll
All
see you,
right,
buddy.
See you, Mike.
Bye. Mr. Randall, final thoughts?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's fun catching up, Mikey, and getting back on the old internet.
Yeah, you've been out for
send
a
out some
hot
of those-
minute.
Yeah, was it been like 3 weeks? Maybe 4?
Yeah, it's probably closer to 4, I think.
Yeah, it's moving sucks. So that's it's been it took up a lot of time. I didn't realize, it's funny, you move, and for whatever reason, a lot of stuff works out. But then once you got like a whole house to move, and you've got all that crap you got in your garage that you think is cool, it's not cool,
but it's
because it's got to get down here somehow. Yeah,
Yeah.
I threw out so much stuff and gave away so much stuff. It's probably could have made money on it, but I'm like, yeah. I was like, it just needs to go.
right.
On to something new. But yeah, it was but no, I'm glad to be here. Everything's kind of settling down, so
Getting there.
getting out there. Yeah, getting out there, catching a little bit of fish, and try to get out a little more, I guess, and kind of explore a little more as well.
Yeah, I'm just hoping for some warm weather. That's what we're lacking here, so I can get out and fish.
We'll try to push some of that up to you.
I would appreciate that. The wind has been ridiculous, so that's what's really like keeping me off the water, but in the cooler temps. But we're getting there.
You guys were like in the 50s today, right?
Maybe.
Maybe you're like,
yeah. I mean, it probably got up over 50, but I know the wind was blowing pretty good today. But I mean, last Saturday was 80, but the wind was blowing 30.
It's so weird how like
kayak tournaments got canceled last weekend up here, and one pushed back from Saturday to Sunday. The other one's talking about keeping theirs on Saturday this weekend in Wisconsin, but they're calling for thunderstorms Saturday and wind and all kinds of nasty crap. So we'll see.
Dude, 8 hours south, completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different.
I'm sure it is. You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, I was walking around in slides today outside in shorts. I mean, it's been mid-70s pretty much.
I'm sure that feels really good. I'd like to put my sandals on,
Yeah,
But,
it's tough being here.
I'm glad you're doing good, man. You got into the new place. Everything went well so far with the move and everything like that, dude. It's good to hear.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. So Jackson Kayaks released the NAR this week, man.
Yep. It's a good looking boat.
Thoughts?
I kind of like it. I mean, it's a little Hobie-ish. It's got a little bit of a little bit of their bite and what is it? I just had to. I can't remember the name of it. The open
rig?
Platform. No, the open platform, Jackson.
Oh,
like just from the handles. Yeah, like the U-Pig, but just from the handles.
Sure.
It's got a little bit of a Slayer kind of look, but I think it's more. Jackson really looked at Hobie a lot on this one. I'm pretty sure. You know what? No fault to him because.
Yeah.
For me, with the Jackson, and if anybody knows, knows me and what I've talked about with Jacksons is they needed a rod stowing situation or solution that was better than whatever they were offering before. And they finally did it.
Sure.
Keeping those, that rod stowage for me, that's a lot. Because now, I mean, well, you don't have the issue now of, I know a lot of Hobie guys that have their rods in there and they cruise down the road. They just strap everything down and and to me to any of us that would be huge because there's no setup. Well, it takes that setup time out of it, right?
Yeah, right.
Getting the rods out and all that. So, I mean, I think it's a good looking boat. I mean, I'd like to try it, and the new drive sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. With
belt driven. belt driven. And I know from what I understand, the whole lower unit changed as well. So like you can't get the new upper and then like throw that on an existing lower.
Oh, yeah, because they re-engineered like the whole setup, I guess.
The whole thing, yeah, top to bottom.
Yeah, and the new FD is what, the Mark IV, I think is the new drive.
That's what they're calling it, Mark IV. Yeah.
It's like belt driven instead of whatever like they had before. So I mean, I don't know a ton about it yet, but when I first started seeing it, I was like, wow, that looks cool. I was like, all right, that makes sense.
Did you see the hints of the new Drew Gregory kayak from Crescent?
Yeah, that one looks cool too. I forget the name at the moment, but that
Scholey.
The Scholey, that's correct. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that looks like a good little boat too. That'll be interesting to see like the whole thing instead of the pieces.
Yeah, it was very small snippet teasers. Yeah. Can kind of get like, some things, some ideas of what they did.
Future's got to like leak it on just a random site.
Yeah, right.
So Future,
right. Let's go, bro.
Since people might not know, Future made that video. So.
Yeah. No, it's cool stuff, man. Cool to see some new stuff coming out, and man, looking forward to it. D'Angelo Watson's in the chat. He says Nart look cool for an FD, but want to see the more of the Scholey too.
Yep.
I'm just a fan of like kayaks in general. It's like being a car guy, right? Like I enjoy seeing all these different boats coming out and everybody's, take on it and what they're doing and what they're incorporating, man. It's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, maybe we'll see about getting Jameson on here. You can talk about that NAR.
Yeah. Get JMO on to talk about the NAR. Sorry.
It's pretty gnarly, bro.
It's gnarly, bro. Gnarly.
Yeah, I think that name like takes after some kind of what's called like Viking. Or,
I forget where it came from. I know it had like some kind of background meaning to it, and it wasn't gnarly. So,
it wasn't gnarly.
But
I'm trying to like look. We're talking about it. I'm trying to like look it up. My computer's so slow.
Yeah, no worries. That's what happens when you move to Tennessee, bro.
Oh, the oldest Norse merchant ship.
Okay,
that's what it is. There we go.
So it's an old merchant ship.
Yeah, from the Norse, up there with the Vikings. It's a Viking ship.
Nice.
It's like we said. Anyway.
I like it. On that note, boys and girls, we will see you next week. We got Brian Slayton lined up for next week. He was down at the Paddle and Fin event. He's got a big YouTube channel. So we're going to have him on next week. He does a lot of creek and river fishing. So I'm looking forward to hearing from him, man. It'll be a good one. He's a good dude. He's the one that took fifth down in Dale Hollow. So good stuff. Yeah, man. All right, boys and girls. Till next week, tight lines, smooth paddle. Peace. Thanks for tuning in to another killer episode here on Paddle and Fin. Be sure to drop a 5-star rating, a thumbs up, or smash that subscribe button on any platform you're listening in on. Be sure to check us out on Waypoint TV, waypointtv.com. Make sure you sign up for the Fantasy Kayak Fishing League at paddleandfin.com/fantasy. You could support this show through Patreon, patreon.com/paddleandfin. Don't forget to check out the website, paddleandfin.com. Catch us on YouTube. If you got a question, comment, or want to see a future guest on the show, be sure to email us at paddleandfin@gmail.com. Shout out to our show supporters, Yak Gadget. You can check out all the fine kayak accessories at yakgadget.com. Pelican Professional. For all your cases, coolers, and lighting needs, go to pelican.com. Rocktown Adventures. Your Midwest premier paddle sports destination, go to rocktownadventures.com. Eastport Marina, the beautiful destination on Dale Hollow Lake. If you're looking for lodging, kayaks, kayak accessories, or anything fishing related on the beautiful Dale Hollow Lake, go to eastport.info. And Jig Masters Jigs. When in doubt, get the jig out. Go to jigmasters.com.